Terraform Cloud versus Terraform Enterprise. What's the difference, and is it worth it? If you've been scratching your head about HashiCorp's Terraform Cloud, now called HCP Terraform, and how it stacks up against the self-hosted Terraform Enterprise, stick around. We'll cover everything from workspaces and remote state management to Sentinel policies and pricing changes. And hey, if you're excited to level up your DevOps game, smash that like button and subscribe for more weekly Infrastructure as Code insights. What is Terraform Cloud? Terraform Cloud is HashiCorp's managed service that runs Terraform in a remote, stable environment so you don't have to manage your own Terraform servers. In fact, HashiCorp recently folded Terraform Cloud into the HashiCorp Cloud Platform HCP branding, so you might hear it called HCP Terraform from now on. Don't worry, it's the same idea. Terraform Cloud HCP handles your Terraform runs on disposable VMs, stores your state and secrets securely, and provides a nice web UI to track everything, and even integrates with version control and auto-trigger plans on code changes. Essentially, it adds collaboration superpowers on top of the open source Terraform CLI. By contrast, Terraform Enterprise is a self-hosted version you install in your own environment, great for companies with strict compliance needs. Workspaces. Organize your infrastructure. Let's start with workspaces, one of the core concepts of Terraform Cloud. In open source Terraform, you might separate environments by using different directories or CLI workspaces. In Terraform Cloud, HCP Terraform, workspaces are mandatory and act like isolated environments for each Terraform configuration. Think of a workspace as a bucket that contains everything needed to manage a given set of infrastructure. The Terraform configuration from your VCS repo or API uploads, variables, and the state of that infrastructure. Each workspace is completely separate from the others, almost like having multiple independent working directories. This means you can safely have a dev, staging, and prod workspace for the same config without clobbering each other's state. Workspaces are also a unit of access control and collaboration. You can give teams access to specific workspaces, more on access control shortly. Tags for workspaces. Now, when you have many workspaces, you'll want ways to organize them. Terraform Cloud introduces workspace tags as lightweight labels to group and filter workspaces. For example, you might tag certain workspaces as env-prod, or app billing, or region EU. These tags then show up in your UI, and you can filter your workspace list by tag to quickly find all prod workspaces or all related to a specific product. It's super handy for tracking resource usage or keeping things tidy. Tags even tie into policies. Sentinel, Terraform's policy as a code framework, can read workspace tags so you can enforce rules only on prod tagged workspaces, for instance. Variables and configuration management. Working with Terraform Cloud means you don't pass variables via the CLI flags or environment variables on your own machine. Instead, you define them in the Terraform Cloud UI or by the API. Each workspace is a variable section where you can set Terraform input variables for your .tf config, as well as environment variables for credentials or special settings. You can mark variables as sensitive so their values are hidden, similar to how you'd use TF vars or environment secrets locally. Under the hood, Terraform Cloud stores these variable values securely in the workspace and supplies them during runs. A great feature here is variable sets. You can define a set of variables like cloud credentials or common tags and apply that across multiple workspaces, avoiding duplication. This is awesome for org-wide credentials. Update it in one place and all workspaces get the change. In short, Terraform Cloud makes variable management more convenient and team-friendly. Terraform Runs. Let's talk about how Terraform Cloud executes your Terraform runs. When you push a code change to your VCS, say GitHub, that's connected to a workspace, Terraform Cloud will auto-queue a run. It will grab the new config version, spin up a temporary VM in the cloud, and perform Terraform plan and optionally an apply in that environment. This is called remote execution, and it means your laptop isn't doing the heavy lifting, HashiCorp's cloud is. Each run goes through a standard flow. First plan, then optionally Sentinel policy checks and cost estimation, after this approval, if not auto-approved, and then apply. You can follow the logs in real time in the UI or on a CLI. The run records are saved, so you have a history of who ran what, when, and the output. If a run fails or you need to debug, you can download the logs and even the plan file. Because Terraform Cloud manages state and variables, each run automatically has the latest state and the variables injected, and parallel runs on the same workspace are automatically locked and queued, so you won't end up with two people applying at once. In short, a Terraform Cloud run is a lot like a CI pipeline, but specialized for Terraform. State management. If you've used Terraform locally, you'll know the .tf state file is critical and can be a pain to share. Terraform Cloud eliminates that pain by acting as the remote state backend for you. Each workspace in Terraform Cloud stores the state file on the cloud, automatically versioned and protected. No more S3 buckets or DynamoDB for locks. It's handled for you. State is stored with encryption at rest and even retains a history of state versions for you if you want to roll back. When a run happens, Terraform Cloud will lock the state, preventing concurrent writes, and then unlock it once you're done. So you get safe collaborative state management out of the box. Also, Terraform Cloud enables remote state sharing. One workspace can directly access the output of another by the Terraform remote state data source, which Terraform Cloud makes possible for its API. By default, workspaces can't see each other's states unless you explicitly allow it, following the principle of least privilege. All in all, state management becomes a solved problem. You get a reliable backend with auditability and no manual config. Now on to Sentinel, HashiCorp Policy as Code framework that's integrated into Terraform Cloud/Enterprise. This is an enterprise-grade feature allowing you to enforce custom rules on Terraform Runs. For example, you can require that certain tags are present on resources, or prevent provisioning of certain types of VM in production, or limit the blast radius of changes. Terraform Cloud Sentinel policies are checked after the plan phase and can soft fail, warn, or hard fail block a run, depending on rules. The cool thing is Sentinel in HCP Terraform has context about the run. It can see the plan changes and even workspace metadata like tags. This is especially useful in larger organizations to implement security, compliance, and cost controls. If you're using Terraform Enterprise on-prem, you'll get full Sentinel framework as well. In summary, Sentinel equals guardrails for your infrastructure as code, ensuring best practices and security rules are enforced before anything hits your cloud provider. Role-based access control. In a team environment, you don't want everyone to have the keys to the kingdom or be limited to one shared login. Terraform Cloud addresses this with robust RBAC model using organizations, teams, and roles. You can invite your users to the Terraform Cloud organization and group them into teams, e.g. developers or operations. Then you can assign permissions to teams on workspaces or projects. For example, you might give the DevOps team write access to the staging workspace, allowing plans to be applied, but only read access to production workspaces so they can't accidentally deploy to prod. There's also the special owners team per organization. Folks in the owners team have full privileges across the organization, and in the free tier, the owners team is limited to only 5 users. This level of control is something you just don't get with plain CLI usage. Audit logs. Speaking of governance, one major feature for enterprises is audit logging. Terraform Cloud, on the higher tier plans like Plus, Premium, and Terraform Enterprise, offer audit logs that record every important action on the system. Audit logs add a whole new level of visibility and accountability to infrastructure changes. In Terraform Cloud Business or Enterprise, these logs can be forwarded to your monitoring or logging systems. HashiCorp even released a Splunk app for Terraform audit logs. In the SaaS Terraform Cloud, audit logging is available on the top tier, Plus, Premium plans, whereas in Terraform Enterprise, self-hosted, it's built in. You'll forward the logs from your instance to wherever you need. If you're a smaller team on the free or standard plan, you won't have the full audit log feature, but you still have a full run history and state history, which will cover a lot. Private module registry. Ever wanted an internal module marketplace for your company? Terraform Cloud delivers that via the private registry feature. This is like having your own Terraform module registry, akin to the public registry, but scoped to your organization. You can publish Terraform modules and even custom providers to the private registry so that your teams can discover and reuse approved infrastructure modules easily. For example, your platform team might publish an AWS VPC network module in the private registry, and developers can pull this module in their configurations by referencing it. The private registry in Terraform Cloud thus helps share and enforce the best practices across your organization. It supports versioning of modules, so teams can pin the version or get updates when you release a new one. Note that the private registry is included even in the free tier of Terraform Cloud, which is awesome for small teams, and of course it is available in Enterprise as well. You may have heard about Terraform Stacks, a newer concept HashiCorp introduced, currently in beta. Stacks aim to simplify managing complex deployments by grouping multiple workspaces together. For example, a stack might encompass a network workspace plus an application workspace managed as a cohesive unit. This is a response to handling multi-module deployments at scale, providing a way to orchestrate all of them without a lot of custom scripting. If you're interested, check out our previous video dedicated to Terraform Stacks to take a closer look at how they work and our experience with them. Pricing and additions. Alright, let's talk pricing and additions. Terraform Cloud, HCP, has a free tier that is surprisingly generous. Free usage for up to 500 managed resources across all workspaces. Once you grow beyond that or need advanced governance features, there are paid plans. As of 2025, HashiCorp offers the Standard and Plus, and a premium for large enterprises as paid tiers. The Standard edition moves to a usage-based pricing model. Essentially, you pay per resource hour beyond the free 500 resources. It also removes the user limit, the old per seat pricing is gone, and includes things like 5 Sentinel Policies and some run tasks. The Plus edition, which is more of an enterprise plan, includes everything in Standard, plus unlimited policies, larger scale, and enterprise features like SSO integration, team management at scale, and audit logging. Then there's Terraform Enterprise, self-hosted, which is typically a bespoke annual license, though a rough ballpark might be $20,000 a year for a small install, and scaling up from there. Enterprise is usually for organizations that require on-prem solutions due to security or want the data isolation. In terms of features, Terraform Enterprise includes all the paid features of Terraform Cloud Premium. You're basically running the high-end edition in your own data center. And sometimes it gets extra toggles to things like air-gapped mode, disaster recovery setups, etc. The key takeaway on pricing is that Terraform Cloud's free tier is a great start, and if you find value or hit limits, HashiCorp is betting you'll upgrade to a usage-based paid plan. This video is already quite long, so I've released a second bonus video on cost-saving tips for HCP. Take a look if you want to try and make some savings. To wrap up, Terraform Cloud, HCP Terraform, provides a powerful platform for collaborative infrastructure as code. It abstracts away the nitty-gritty of remote state storage, adds features like policy enforcement, access controls, and a slick UI, all things that can dramatically improve a team's Terraform workflow compared to using open source Terraform alone. Before you go, if you found this overview useful, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel and ensures you won't miss future deep dives and tutorials. A big thank you to DOps Digital for supporting this video. DOps Digital specializes in accelerated DevSecOps and CI/CD consulting. Basically, if you need experts to help you build, test, and deploy code faster and more securely, check them out. There's going to be a link in the description below. They've been an amazing partner in the DevOps community. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more DevOps goodness. Until next time, let's get merge ready.